Thanks to Daniel for that report. And the Supreme Court is hearing a case brought by a small network of pro-life pregnancy centers, which argues that the New Jersey Attorney General has unfairly targeted them with a subpoena seeking information protected under the First Amendment. The centers contend the subpoena would force them to disclose sensitive donor and even operational details. In response, the New Jersey Attorney General asserts that these are lawful and routine requests. Joining us to break it all down is Noah Brandt. He's VP of Communications and Government Affairs at Live Action. Noah, thanks for joining us. Can you give some background and a summary of what this case centers on?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. So the First Choice Pregnancy Resource Centers are being sued by the state of New Jersey. They're suing the state of New Jersey because the Attorney General of New Jersey is trying to compel them to share confidential information, especially disclosing who their donors are. And what the new Attorney General is trying to do is chill the free speech of pro-life Americans and discourage donations to pro-life pregnancy resource centers. And the reason that he's doing this is because pro-life resource centers are incredibly effective. There are over 2,700 pro-life resource centers across the country. Last year, a new analysis shows that they gave out over $450 million of free services. That's medical care like ultrasounds and STI testing. That's resources like diapers and formula and baby clothes and parenting classes. The abortion movement and their allies in politics, like the Attorney General of New Jersey, are scared of pregnancy resource centers because they expose that the abortion industry only kills children through abortion, while pregnancy resource centers are helping families choose life. So, oral arguments were yesterday on Tuesday of this week, and I think they went incredibly well, and I think that we'll see a very positive outcome in this case.
Now, it seems that there are precedents in support of both positions. Could you walk us through some of those precedents and how they might be applied, because they're not a direct application to the case that's before the SCOTUS?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Here's what I think is the key, is I think that it's a constitutional issue. It's a First Amendment issue. So the First Amendment of the Constitution guarantees every American the right to free speech and the right to support causes that they are passionate about. And whenever you're supporting a nonprofit, you have a right to a private donation. And so at the end of the day, the state of New Jersey is at war with the Constitution. And this shouldn't surprise anybody because, right, we have our Bill of Rights and we have other amendments that have been added. One of our most important amendments to the Constitution is the 14th Amendment. And the 14th Amendment, which is ratified after the Civil War, guarantees every person equal protection under the law. And when applied fairly, the Equal Protection Clause should protect even preborn children, preborn Americans who are still in their mother's womb, from the violence of abortion. But there's so many attorney generals and other people in the pro-abortion movement who deny that fact about the 14th Amendment. So it shouldn't surprise us that now they're at war with the First Amendment. So I think, yesterday at the oral arguments, we saw, there are currently 6 Republican-appointed justices on the court and 3 Democrat-appointed justices. We saw the 6 Republican-appointed justices, I think, ask very good questions. We even saw one of the Democratic-appointed justices, Justice Elena Kagan, who was appointed by President Obama, point out that really the state of New Jersey had no right to ask for this information, and she questioned it on First Amendment grounds. And so I think that any way you cut it, I think this will be a big victory for First Choice Pregnancy Resource Center, which will have national ramifications. Because really, if they were to lose, as in if the Attorney General of New Jersey was to win, it would be a shot across the bow to nonprofits across the country. That if you live in a state where the Attorney General doesn't like your work, then they could try to destroy you by getting your donor information and trying to chill donations and support of your organization. So this case is very, very important.
Yeah, there are so many different angles to this. And of course, abortion is one of the most polarizing issues in the country, very much divided on red and blue states as well. I want to flip this on its head. Could the claims that these pro-life New Jersey pregnant centers misrepresented what they're calling neutrality potentially be inverted against Planned Parenthood? Do you feel that there's maybe a double standard here, or are similar actions already happening in red states to go after Planned Parenthood?
I think that, the government should be a neutral player, especially when it comes to the First Amendment rights of its citizens and of organizations and businesses in those states. So listen, I oppose the work of Planned Parenthood. Live Action helped lead the fight to defund Planned Parenthood federally in the big, beautiful bill that passed over the summer. We're going to continue that work. but their state attorney general should respect the law, even against organizations that they disagree with. And so I would encourage every governor of a red state to respect the law according to when it comes to an organization like Planned Parenthood. But that means that the Supreme Court must tell Democrat and blue state attorney generals to respect the law when it comes to an organization that they disagree with, which is the Pregnancy Resource Center. Now, the sad part is, what is there to disagree about with the Pregnancy Resource Center? They're not providing abortions. They're also not stopping people from getting abortions in New Jersey. In New Jersey, abortion is legal and subsidized, tragically. All they're doing is giving women and families another choice, and they're giving them literal things like resources that help them raise a family. And so I think it's really despicable what the Attorney General of New Jersey has done. And I'm really hoping that there's a strong ruling against him that has national ramifications.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. You brought up Kagan, even with her line of questions suggesting that maybe this was not constitutional, which goes back to the heart of what you started with, which was if you know you're doing something unconstitutional, but you know there'll be this gap of time before there could be any remedy, that your intention is to chill speech and potentially chill those who may fear donating. So it's a very interesting case. Appreciate you sharing your analysis with us on it. Noah Brandt, thanks for joining.
Thanks so much.